Here are the cisterns that were part of the house that we bought. We got these 3 here. We got a 4th one there. I think that's it. There might be I think there's a couple more around the corner of the house over there. 1 or 2 more. So they filled up because it's rained. So I'll show you quickly how this works. I grabbed my hose and there's a quick valve on here that I'm going to end up taking off eventually because you can see it leaks. And that's not the idea I want. I want it to hold all the water possible. So I'm going to end up screwing this off eventually, and then I'll just screw my hose. So I'll screw this off eventually, and then I'll just screw my hose directly onto there as needed. Unless I can get this to work, then I'll plug that, and I'll just use this, and I'll screw my hose there and turn this on. So anyways, what's convenient here is that this does have a valve. So either way, I got to have a valve. Here's a valve. There's a valve. I need to have a valve on one of these 2. This one seems to be a little questionable. Plus, it doesn't go all the way down, and I want to get all the water out. So anyways, I'm going to water some plants. Or as you can see, I'm actually watering some plants right now. It's just going to this one right here. It's nice and close. That's got enough water at this point, so I'm going to continue on to some plants that are further away. That being said, I went to the hot tub, or I went to the pool place today for hot tubs and pools. Got to get this bad boy running. And the first order of business is to get it drained out. The water's been, as far as I know, this water's at least 12 months old, hasn't been maintained for 12 months. And the pool place said you should probably drain and replace every 4 to 5 months. So I'm on the drain. After it's drained out, it's just a quick cleaning, 50-50 solution of water and vinegar. Just wipe everything down and then fill it back up with the city water. Right now I've got it siphoning out and I'm watering the plants with this water. Water's probably pretty neutral at this point, low in chlorine, all that stuff. So it's probably really safe for the plants. I've already watered that one there, watering this one here, but now my hose isn't going to be long enough to continue on to the hibiscus there. This beautiful flowering object looks like a Heliconia ginger family something to me. Not sure. But so I want to get some more of these watered on down the line. So I'm going to disconnect this hose over here and connect it to that hose over there, and that'll allow me to water more down that way. Okay, I've got the hose extended now. It took me maybe 60 seconds, and it's going to the hibiscus here. And I've started a 2-minute timer on my watch for each plant. So, I move the hose, start the timer for 2 minutes, timer goes off, come back, move the hose, run it for 2 minutes in the next plant. That should take care of quite a bit of these plants, because that's a lot of water in the hot tub. So in between each 2 minutes, I'm emptying out this shed here. So I spent a good amount of time yesterday getting a lot of garbage out of here. It was garbage. So what I got left is some pots that Sylvia might want to hang on to and keep. So I'm going to set these aside for her. Up here, some stuff that neither of us are probably interested in. We're just going to go ahead and donate this stuff, or find maybe like a local business that might feel that these pieces would go nicely in their retail outfit or something along those lines. Basically, that's about. It's for the most part, it's empty enough. The task at hand here, the objective, is to deconstruct everything I don't need and get to the original framing. So like, you got these boards here, I'm going to get rid of these, but I got to leave in the original framing, of course. So get rid of everything that I don't need. I'm going to slowly figure that out. So there's a couple more there. I don't believe that this workbench thing here is part of the structure. I can't imagine how it would be. That's going to come out. These shelves would come out. So anything that's not part of the structure, I want to remove for the most part. Oh, there goes my timer. So let's go water a different plant. Who's thirsty here, guys? Speak up. Let's see. You're looking awfully dry. Let's take care of you. There we go. All right, hibiscus, enjoy. Okay. Oh, got to reset the timer here. 1 second. There we go. 2 more minutes. Okay. So the idea here, after I get everything deconstructed, I'm going to turn this into my outdoor office. Fast forward to the end of the project, the last thing I'm going to be doing is installing an AC unit. So this outdoor shed isn't 100 degrees on summer days, when I'm trying to work. All right, so if I'm going to put AC in, it behooved me to insulate. And that's why I'm pulling everything out that's not structural. I want to get right down to the walls and throw the insulation in between the studs. So I don't want anything in my way to get that done. And then once the insulation's in, it's time to finish the walls. I originally thought I was going to use drywall, and then I started thinking about it some more, and I'm like, wait a second. I'd have to buy the drywall, and that adds some expense, right? And then if you do drywall, you're going to want to finish it. So you have to put in drywall mud. You got to drywall mud all the screws. You got to drywall mud the seams. And after you mud it, you got to sand it. And after you sand it, you're going to want to paint it. It's a lot of extra work and a lot of extra time. And it looks great. But I said to myself, why would I go through the expense of drywall? My timer's going off again for the plants, so let's go do that. So why would I buy drywall when I've got a lot of reclaimed wood that I brought up from my Fort Lauderdale property, and I got a bunch of wood that I brought up, I got a bunch of wood that was left here for me from the previous owner. And it's all sitting in my barn over there. So what I'm going to do is keep any of the wood that I think can be reused in here. Right, so this is pretty cool. Right, I can reuse the top of that. I don't see why I couldn't reuse those. Why not? They got these markings on them. It doesn't have to be, I'm not looking for, I don't need to have that uniform look like a finished wall with drywall and paint and stuff like that. I'll just put up all these boards, let it be natural, let it just become what it is and have fun with that. So it's just going to be a hodgepodge of boards all up and down the walls and to the ceilings, and that'll hide the insulation. And that's about it. So some of the things that'll have to happen, right? Like I said, I'll have to put an AC unit in. I'll have to drill a 4-inch hole in the wall somewhere for the AC vent. I'm going to think carefully about the configuration that I'm going to have in this storage space, which is now going to become my office. And I'm going to want to make sure that I put plugs in appropriate places so that, I can plug things in without having to use a bunch of extension cords and things of that nature. Put in outlets and stuff like that. So I got to think about that, get all that done. So here we go. To get the job done, to pull all these parts out that I don't want, at a quick glance, I've just noticed it's a lot of nails and just some screws. Not really, it's not going to be difficult. It's just going to take some time. You just got to find all the screws and the nails because I don't want to ruin the wood. I would like to maybe reuse as much as I could. So the tools I have on task, my impact driver to back all the screws out. And I've got a nice assortment of heads because I noticed not everything's Phillips. There are some star bits, and I wouldn't be surprised if I find some flat heads. And then my trusty hammer. So first one's done. It wasn't too bad. I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. This one will go even quicker because I got more space to work. So onward. Got all the pieces that were hanging down. This was an interesting one. This board is so long, I can't figure out how they got it in here. Maybe it went through a window. At any rate, I had a hard time getting it to this location. It is pretty flexible. I might be able to bend it out. The beauty of this board, though, is if I can keep it intact in one piece, or maybe I just leave it in here and I work around it, is that it does span the entire length. So I'm gonna end up finishing these walls with these reclaimed boards. All right, I'm gonna reuse these boards. So that would actually be a board that could go from end to end in one continuous run. That's pretty cool. So it wasn't all that well. These things that were hanging weren't, hung because they were structural. They were just hung because they were utilitarian. They were pretty easy to get down. One of the things that they did with some of these boards is they put them in with a staple gun. All right, so the staples go through. So I have to pound those out. And then on the other side, they come out kind of looking like this. And I can't get the hook side of the hammer, the claw side. Can't get the claw in there, so trusty pliers. So I just gotta go ahead and just start pulling all these out, and then that'll be done. These boards will be cleaned up. I've got those 4 boards there, those 2 on the left, and then these 2 were just kind of sitting up there as just extra wood. They weren't part of the design or anything. So I got that stuff I can reuse. Again, I got to take down the shelf, or this desk type area. Those shelves are probably coming down. I think I'm gonna leave that built out structure there in place. Goes all the way around to there. I think I'm gonna leave that in place. That's not the end of the world. Maybe I'll stuff some insulation or something in there to help, but I don't see a reason really to deconstruct that. The big question is, this shelf here, do I take that down? Everything's all buried behind paint. I think it's a yes at this time, but I'll address that later when I examine it a little more carefully. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna pull some staples out, and then I gotta head off to CrossFit. All right, guys, check in soon.